This week, the big story in the racing world comes from Orlando, Florida, where one of the largest trade shows on the planet has attracted a multitude of my favorite people. This special PRI edition of Wind Tunnel kicks off 3 days of critically important buying and selling, putting you face to face with thousands of customers. And the year's last big international racing event is among the PRI attractions. Tonight's fifth running of the Red Bull kart fight will be action-packed. And this morning, we'll hear from a couple of its big stars. It's going to be fun. We think you made a good decision showing up this morning. Congratulations and welcome to the show. And a very good morning, PRI. How about a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for one of America's favorite racers, Kenny Schrader, and one of America's grumpiest race reporters, Robin Miller. I've got a quick story about our next guest. Steve Lewis asked me what I would think of the idea of having his son Michael join us this morning. Steve was concerned about the appearance of nepotism, that he was using the show as a means to promote, his son's racing career. And I said, Steve, let me ask you a question. How many young American drivers have tested a Formula One Ferrari in recent years? And he kind of grinned like he got what I was getting at. I think, never mind what his last name is, I think he absolutely belongs on the show today. Let's welcome let's welcome Michael Lewis, Steve's son, to the stage to talk about testing that Ferrari.
Hello, kid.
He's had that grin on his face ever since whatever it was, a week ago Thursday or something. You've been a busy, busy guy, but I want to start with the Ferrari test. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you. No, it's been great, and again, thank you for having me on here. And no, it was an incredible experience, especially like you said, it was a Ferrari F1 car, the red car.
You earned the opportunity to do this with your performance in the Formula 3 series in Italy. But there was a problem because in addition to your success in that series, you also became part of the FIA Young Driver Academy, and lo and behold, those two things happened on the same day, right? The Ferrari test and the first day of the academy.
Yeah, and like you said, I won the rookie championship. I was P2 overall in the Formula 3 Italia championship. I got the Ferrari test, everything was looking great, and I got a phone call. And I said I had to go. They said I had to go to Austria immediately on that day to participate in an FIA selection event. So basically, the moment I hopped out of this Ferrari F1 car, excited like crazy, I had to fly immediately and go do the FIA Academy. I got inside, so I must thank everybody who helped me get inside that and do the Ferrari test as well. So overall, it was a great experience.
That's a very big day, Robin.
Well, I just remember when Jeff Gordon got to drive Montoya's Formula One car at the Speedway, and when he got out, he's used to big horsepower in a NASCAR car, but not the acceleration, the braking. What was the most impressive thing? Because I think in the highlight film we got to see, you were gassing it pretty good on the racetrack. You went from a small, horsepower Formula to a Formula One car, and what was the most impressive thing about it?
No, I was pushing, like you said, and for me, the brakes are incredible, as well as the power. I had tested a World Series by Renault car with carbon brakes, so I felt, the power of the braking, but no, this engine is incredible. I was driving a 220 horsepower Formula 3 Italian car, and as you see here on the TV screen, I'm driving an 800 horsepower Formula 1 car. So for me, the engine was something I've never experienced in my life, and I will cherish forever. So now I have the feeling. So we'll see what happens in the future.
Robin and I were watching this video yesterday for the first time, and we both had the same reaction when you pulled out of the garage. Either of us would have killed the engine. There's just no doubt about that. we would have locked up and killed it right there. What was the most challenging part of it, given your experience level? You obviously have the skill, but in terms of your experience level, what was the most difficult thing about managing that car?
Yeah, for me, managing the brakes, that was quite hard. We had to reach 160 bars of pressure. For those who don't know, in Formula car racing, that's quite a lot. And every time you hit the corner, especially the aero-dependent corners, you must arrive to 160 bars of pressure. And the engineer was telling me on the radio, every time I was hitting this corner in particular, Michael, you can go more pressure. Really, I was pressing as hard as possible. You know, so for me, the managing of the brakes was something incredible. In the end, I was quite okay, but that was something you really have to learn to do, just to drive into the corner so far and stomp on the pedal. So that was the biggest thing, and I must thank, you know, Canon Air Filters, Eibach Springs, my team, Prema Power Team, my good friend and driver coach Giacomo Ricci for basically setting me up for this, you know, this wonderful experience. And without those people, this would not have been possible at all.
Here's the best thing, because, you know, we talked to Steve during the course of the season, seeing how you're doing, and one weekend he's racing a Formula One, he's testing a Formula One car, and the next weekend he's racing a stock car at Bakersfield. Well, that's a little bit of a stretch. Or Irwindale.
Irwindale, yeah. No, Bakersfield is dirt,
right,
so
right.
No way.
No way.
You're not a dirt
don't say
racer,
that,
huh?
son. You'd like that. But, I mean, I'm just saying, going from a stock car at Irwindale to a Formula One car, I mean, you've seen the whole spectrum in one summer. Yeah,
no, it's amazing to think that, yeah, I was sitting in a stock car, and at the moment I was just pushing in the stock car, and then the next moment I was just pushing the Formula One car. You know, I was just taking it step by step. You never want to try to get too far ahead of yourself, but, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Just think if you had show and tell. Hey, what'd you do over the weekend, kid? Oh, I tested a Formula One car. Yeah, sure you did, right.
Not having had that experience of driving any kind of a car at the limit, is there a level at which it's all the same? I mean, whether it's a stock car on pavement at Irwindale or a Formula One car trying to maintain that 180 bar of brake pressure, when you're out there looking for the edge, are they in any way comparable?
Yes, absolutely. From go-karting, Formula One stock car is absolutely like this. Once you arrive to the limit, which sometimes is quite hard to find, it becomes the same principles of managing the tires, managing oversteer, understeer, who's around you, aero effect. Even in the stock car, you have some, you know, aero balance issues. So it is, in the end, once you arrive to the limit, it is very comparable, and a good racing driver can, you know, can manage this if he's, you know, going in between F1 cars, like you said, or stock cars or whatever. So exactly, it does become manageable.
A lot of us in this country have trouble grasping all the different formulae that exist in Europe, all the different paths that hopefully carry one to the big time. This FIA Academy deal is a pretty big deal. When you left the Formula One test, you were one of 30 guys. When you left the Academy selection process, you were one of 18 selected to continue with that program, so we congratulate you with that. Do you have an idea yet what the next step is going to be in the hopefully the rise all the way to Formula One?
Now, as the two drivers said before, you know, it's pretty open right now, especially in the off season, but we're pushing with Prema Power Team, which was my team for this year in Formula 3 Italia. One, they're good friends of mine, and they prepare very fast race cars. We're working for Formula 3 Euro Series, which is a Formula 3 car, which is very similar to what I was driving, a little bit longer wheelbase, a little bit more horsepower, and Mercedes and Volkswagen are the engine suppliers versus Fiat. So we're trying for this category. It's following DTM, so, you know, it's a very, very nice show, and we'll see where that takes me. But again, it's open for now, but we're pushing for this at the moment.
With your applause, let's give him our best wishes and good luck as he heads into the 2012 season. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lewis. Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Thank you.